Hello.
Hi. Let me turn off this music in my head.
I was gonna say I can't hear what's in your head.
Yeah, you can't hear it anymore. Hey.
It's all by
Well,
your it's
hello.
it's all by your lonesome there. Hi, Dee Marie.
My goodness, what is going on over here? Okay. Happy Tuesday.
I can't believe it's already Tuesday. It feels weird that it's already Tuesday. Wasn't it Tuesday yesterday?
I wasn't sure what day it was yesterday. I did my stream yesterday and I was like, am I streaming on the right day?
Your closed captions are still on, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's weird. Oh, yeah, it is.
YouTube changed some things on Stephanie between the last time we streamed and now.
Closed captioning is kind of funny though.
I mean, it can be interesting.
I, Dee Marie, would it help if we did closed captions for you? Would that be helpful? Um, I I mean, I can turn them on. It usually doesn't translate very well, in my opinion.
So far, it's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So far, it's doing pretty
Okay.
well, but I don't know if it might be distracting since you can turn them on by
Yeah.
yourself, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it just surprised you. Yeah. I was doing something else for the past 4 days that was non-quilt oriented, and I'm happy to be here doing quilt oriented things now. But yeah, we had a person who was hard of hearing, so I had to set up closed captioning, and it now turns itself on automatically. So
Well, we have things to tell you guys about, so we need to like get
yeah.
rolling. While Steph
Yeah.
is doing a couple of things there, let me just give you your assignment for next week, which will be the third round of our Patchwork Pillowcases book. You're gonna read chapters 5 through the end there, which is pages 78 through 118. And then also as a reminder that after the week after that is our interview with Anne, who is here in the comments. She told me herself.
Ah, she's here.
She's
Awesome.
here. Quilts are the
What
answer
what
to
kind
everything.
what kind of havoc are you gonna wreak this week, Anne?
Well, and we have an update on last week's Havoc. But Steph, you have something really cool to show everybody before we get into Havoc Week.
Yeah, let me share my screen again real quick. Please note, this is something that is in the works. It is not available yet, but Jill said, Stephanie, show this. So we have been, since we've been doing some, co-streaming, and we
Can you
have
zoom
lots of
that in a
projects.
bit?
Yep. I
Thank
wanted
you.
to show that it is a t-shirt.
Uh,
So we have created a Quilt Nerding Cake TV t-shirt that will be available soon. I have a couple of tweaks I have to make to it. Um, but anyway, we wanted to show it to you, get your thoughts, see if you like it. And then also, Jill reminded me that I do have, oops, you guys don't want to see that. I do have a page of t-shirts and tote bags and whatnots if you are ever interested. The Dunton shirt has been really popular, and I personally love it. I have a couple of them.
me too.
Yeah, these tote bags are also really great. I have both of these tote bags. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know, no hard sell here. I'll put the can I can yeah, I can put the thing in
Yeah,
the
you
chat.
can. I can't put the links in.
Yeah.
But these she's got Cake TV stuff, she's Dutton stuff, and she has the Quilt Nerding stuff here. So that's the stuff that helps keep the lights on. And the whole point in trying to get a t-shirt design out right now is in case anyone wanted one in time to wear to a QSG seminar, because that will probably be the uniform you might see Stephen wearing
It
around
will be
the
my
market.
uniform the day of my yeah, I don't have a turnip dress to wear this year. So I was gonna wear something different, but I'm like, I could do my t-shirt and blazer uniform. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And being
But,
Steph's official Vanna White for her study center, I will also be wearing a uniform t-shirt for that.
Uh,
D. Marie, what are you talking about here? Your crazy quilt. That one Tuesday was my favorite one, the sashing between the blocks.
Oh,
Am
yours.
am I forgetting something?
Your crazy quilt.
My crazy quilt? Oh, the one I made. Oh, that's why I'm like, what? You know, it's so
Of the
funny.
two of us, one of us has made a crazy quilt. One of us has
Uh,
not.
it's funny. I was in my sewing room the other day and just happened upon that top. So I should one of these days grab the top and show you actually like size wise of the top. Okay. So moving on from there, let me get into there's so many screens. Stephanie, it's there's so many screens. Why is there so many screens?
Actually, today I have the least amount of screens that I've had open all week,
Okay, let me
including the
first
weekend. So,
let's first look at this. You got
yeah.
something there, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So one thing that Steph and I are going to start doing is because we are having a hard time just always keeping all of the schedules and stuff straight and making sure we're telling everybody about all the things going on. We're going to start putting together actual schedules to show. So this one is for the rest of August. And you can see here in blue here, we've got Steph's Cake TV at 2 p.m. The 27th there, that is the Quilt Nerding Investigates. When we end Ann's book and after we have her interview, we aren't going to start a new book right away because we won't be having any scheduled live streams the week that we are at seminar. It's just too crazy. There could be a pop-up, who knows? um we might see if we can like have something that's pre-recorded that plays while we're gone. We just have a lot of things going on, so we can't have anything scheduled. So we're going to wait to start our soft covers for Hard Times book until we get back from seminar, so you'll have a week off to do anything you want. And then the other thing here that you see is we are actually going to drop our needlework nights to once a month. They're they're waning in popularity, and we still want to do them because we really like looking and talking about the stuff. But we've got to go with the content that's really popular. So we're going to drop that
Yeah.
to once a month, and then that potentially leaves some other night somewhere to maybe look at something else.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
so
Janet, yes, those are everything's Eastern
yep,
time because Jill and
everything.
I are both East Coast.
Yep, see right here, I've got it right here. All times are in Eastern. And
And
this
Anne is
calendar,
asking, what is Cake TV?
Anne doesn't know what Cake TV is. Oh my goodness. Stephanie, you better tell her what Cake TV is.
So Cake TV is my twice weekly stream. I do it on Twitch, but I have been archiving my videos to YouTube now, which I have been lazy and not given anybody that link, but I will. Um, but what I do mostly, I mean, sometimes we look at stuff, but mostly it started as I was reading the old books. So like, the Ruth Finleys and the Marie Websters, I was reading those books. Just, it's the kind of thing I personally would have wanted. Because I listen to books a lot on Audible, and it occurred to me that if I could have those books to listen to, I would get them read. But since I can't, I thought I'll read them to others. I also have commentary, so my obnoxious commentary is sprinkled throughout. That's how I'm keeping it from being any kind of copyright issue. But
And then
yeah,
you
we have
look
all
at
kinds of
fun
hijinks.
stuff too.
Yeah, I look at, sometimes I kind of do themes, and sometimes Jill comes on and we do co-streams and stuff. So yeah, there's usually something going on Mondays and Thursdays.
And
But yeah,
yours
also
is
I'll
in the
share out the
afternoon.
links.
Yours is in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
I'm at 2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. So I get folks that kind of take their lunch breaks and hang out with me. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
So
it's just
um
more quilty goodness and
yeah.
textile-y stuff.
Yeah,
I'll go ahead
I'll
and
put
put
the
your
link in
link in
here
there.
now.
So
Since I can.
this schedule will now, because we're gonna like combine the schedules, you'll see it posted everywhere. If you follow Cake TV Stephanie stuff, you'll see it there. You'll see it on the Quilt Nerding stuff. Like we'll have it everywhere so everyone knows where to be for things. Okay, now with that, we have other things. Hold on
Oh,
again.
not yet.
No, stop getting
I'm like,
excited.
such pretty pillowcases. I want to talk about them.
We're going to talk about them because I've got a couple to show, but another thing here. Okay.
Oh, the book sale.
Yes. So one thing I want to mention, another thing for Steph and I to keep the lights on, things do start to cost money as you get deeper into things. We have an excess of extra books, history related, things like that, that we are going to liquidate. And we have them for sale on our Instagram and our Facebook groups. If you go into the Instagram and there's a highlight reel there for the book sale. I want everyone to know where to find them. They are very reasonably priced. And all that money goes to helping us do stuff, just like t-shirts and things like that and whatnot. And we have things that we really want to do that you would really like us to do. So we'd really appreciate that support. And then moving on from there, I want to remind everybody the area of Pennsylvania that we are dealing with in Ann's book, because again, it's all based on counties. I don't live my life based on counties. I'm sure other people don't live their life based on counties. So I thought it'd be a good reminder to put that in here about where we're talking about in her book. And then my framed, is it a privy bag? Is it a pillowcase? Who knows? So the hijinks from last week was the overwhelming group peer pressure to crack into this baby and find out what it might really be. And we discussed it afterwards and thought it would be really fun to kind of do it as a group at seminar. So we have been allowed to use a study center room that won't be used at the time. We're aiming for Wednesday evening. If there's going to be people around, nerds, you're invited to come. If you want to be a part of this, Anne is going to come. We've got some other friends that are coming, and we're going to take, a little bit of video, a little bit of pictures and stuff so that we can also show everyone at home this whole process. But
Yeah, we probably won't be able to live stream it just because hotels have notoriously bad Wi-Fi. But we'll definitely record it. So anybody who's not going to seminar, not in that area, we'll show it to you guys. So you'll be able to be a part of it too.
Yeah, this will have to be kind of a signed up little event. It's not something that's going to happen like in a big public space. So you have to let us know.
It's by invitation only.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know if you want to come to it. But if you're around and this interests you, you are welcome to come. You can let us know. We can do it Wednesday night or we can do it the Thursday night, which is, people are probably like, what date's that? The Wednesday would be the 4th. The Thursday would be the 5th. I'm currently voting for Wednesday because there's almost nothing competing with that.
And this is September, by the way. This is seminar in Terrytown.
Yes, seminar. So there's too many things. There's just too many things. But yes, that was the decision on that. We are going to open it and we're going to do it as a group, and that's where we're going to do it so people can be a part of that and see that. So,
and fingers crossed that is not going to be like some kind of Al Capone's vault situation where we get in there and
no, it's going to be like the
smoke
Mummy.
and mirrors.
Yeah,
it was all smoke and mirrors.
I just stuck this in here as a reminder for anyone that didn't know what that pillowcase said on it. They had this little card in it that on this side said, made in the year 1902, and then the other side was out of the Lizzie. Do you think that's Nolt or Wolt? It's got to be Nolt, right?
I think it's Nolt. I think it's an N.
Out of her estate, New Holland, Old Order Mennonite. It's saying it's a pillowcase, but there's a question mark. And then the other things I just wanted to show here is after our stream last week, our friend Julie Silber started posting some patchwork pillowcases on her Facebook. I then reached out to her. These photos are shared with permission. I reached out to her and asked, hey, what's the scoop here? Are these your personal collection? Are these for sale? She said she has 3 or 4 sets They are going to be for
Ooh.
sale. They're not currently on her website. She posted this picture and then she posted this picture.
Ooh. Hey,
So
Jan.
because I'm sharing these, I will be linking her website into the description when we're done. Don't forget that after we're done streaming and the video has settled into YouTube, it takes a little time for them to kind of accept the video, I guess. Then I can go in and change the description and I add a whole bunch of stuff that Steph doesn't have access to ahead of time. So always make sure that you come back to the videos later to see all kinds of links that I've put into it. And I can tell you from looking myself, it's often easier to look at those links on an iPad or a laptop than it is on your phone. Sometimes your phone won't show you all the links, just a little FYI. So yeah, Julie's gonna have patchwork pillowcases for sale. And if you wanted to start your collection, that would be the time. And this one's just amazing.
Yeah, this pair is really cool.
I don't know, like I didn't ask like what her price points will be or anything. But yeah, I really Anne, have you seen these before? Do you know these pillowcases? I wasn't sure if they've maybe ever been in your possession or you've seen them. I really like it a lot. I like that yellow pair too.
You know, I love the fact that this phenomenon of Pennsylvania pillowcases, there's a small enough amount of them that they have changed hands.
Yeah.
They're kind of like they're a little bit like celebrities.
Yeah,
Oh, she's never
Anne's
seen
never
those.
seen these. Ooh. Yeah, these are just and these ones are really cute.
Hmm.
I like the prints on them. I mean, of course it's got plaid, so that's all I need. And then oh my God,
Yeah,
this
and it's got that yellow, um,
mm-hmm.
that very Pennsylvania yellow.
So yeah, those are the goodies and the things that I have to tell you about. There you are. Don't forget to put
Awesome.
this back in gallery. Okay. So with now I gotta close 800 windows. Okay. Now with that going, we can begin dropping all kinds of
I have
stuff.
to admit, I stressed out a little bit because I had to do my reading last minute because I usually do my reading on weekends and I had stuff going on this weekend. So
You are the
I
biggest tattletale on yourself.
I know I am, but I want to make the point that I was eating dinner and I was reading, and luckily this week was a lot of pictures, which is good.
Mhm.
But I was just like paging through the pictures, like eating. Oh, look at this.
Also, the photography in here is great. The colors are really, really
Yeah.
vibrant.
I
And
actually have, I'm so glad Anna's here because I actually have a question. And I know it's probably something I should save for the interview, but we have a million things to ask her for that anyway. On page 32, it's the back side of the last page of the, this is what it looks like. It's four different, I think they're backings. So it's facing the chapter 3 page. This one down here, right here, this one.
bottom
It
left.
says that back of hourglass pillowcase showing blue coloring that may have been penciled. What does that mean? Does that mean that like a colored pencil or something and that somebody colored it? Like what does that mean?
Hmm. I didn't pay attention to that last time.
Yeah.
Like colored in after the fact kind of thing,
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean that has to be what it means, but I just like the pencil part is what got me. I was like, hmm. Um, yes, Janet, a lot about different time frames for fabric. Me too. This is stuff that I have to hear over and over again because I have a hard time committing stuff that's date related to memory. Okay. So yeah, she's saying it's blue color added with a pencil or brush by hand.
Wow.
So
Very. Speaking of,
yeah.
very interesting. When I was going back through and looking at stuff, I had asked Anne this evening if she had additional papers or talks or anything about fabric dyes and time periods and things like that, because her explanations for these things are some of the most accessible I have ever seen.
Yes. Thank you, Anne. Can you tell that somebody who wrote this book is not only a chemist, but also a very good explainer of chemical topics? Tell us like we're five.
Well, so I mean, I have to report in this moment. Sadly, the answer is no, but I had said something like, I would attend a class discussion, something like that, about kind of
Yeah.
fabric dyes and dating and things. Like, this is one of the best explanations of turkey red that I've
Hmm.
ever seen. Um, and just to quote here, several pillowcases contain fabrics referred to as turkey reds, which are color fast, bright red fabrics produced by a complex dyeing process based on the madder root. I knew that, but I always see it explained in far fancier language, and I am definitely one of those academics that believes the fancier your language, the less substance there is to what you're writing. So I like plain, simple, getting the point across. And when we get into some of the little more, it's brief, but like some of the more fabric dyeing and things like that, I was like, oh, and I'm looking in the back, I'm like, does she have more on this? Is there more somewhere? Can I get a paper? Is there a paper on this more somewhere? So yeah, Anne, in your spare time.
Yeah. Yeah. Just as soon as you get that done, you let us know.
Teach us more,
Uh,
teach us more about the fabric dyeing and the dating and things. I enjoyed.
no, but I definitely I too really liked the beginning of this chapter and talking about the dyes and these date ranges and yeah, it is very accessible. I think sometimes when you read the stuff, you're like, I mean, I've seen stuff that goes into like the real details about turkey red, and it's like nobody needs to know all that. All you need to know is it's complex. And here are the dates. But yeah, this is such good info. And I have to say, I know I've heard of chrome yellow before,
Mhm.
but I think I was not aware that there's like a chemical change to chrome yellow makes chrome orange. I didn't realize that. Well, I mean,
I, you know something? I do know about chrome yellow. I do know about chrome orange, but I think you're right. I think I didn't know that it was this little.
Mhm.
Anne also just said, let's do a book group on a dye or fabric book. I guess potentially,
Ooh.
Anne, you'd have to be the one to pick that
Mhm.
because you probably know better than we do what kind of book would be accessible enough for you to explain the parts that are not accessible. But yes, if you want to do that, we could do that and we could bring you right up on screen here with us to do that.
Yeah. You could teach us all about the varying chemical lives of fabrics.
No, really, Anne, get back to us about that. Tell us what book you like.
Yeah,
I also, I
definitely.
mean, even the discussion, so where did it go? It could be a little deeper in here. I forget which page because I didn't write it down. The discussion about the combinations of like the over dye with like yellow, blue, green, and like the way that it's like fades.
Hmm.
What page was that? What page was that?
That's a little bit later in my
I think
thing.
so too.
Is it stars? I want to say it's with stars because the stars were where there's some changes. Is that what that was? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Hi, Arlene.
Arlene. Anne said she can interpret.
Yes, absolutely. People like you are invaluable for things like that. Um, yeah, it
Well,
could have.
while you look at that, look for that. Um, I loved, and I hope, spoiler alert, because I have read the book all the way through. So in the section where she's talked about squares, and you flip over into page 37, and it's talking about these particular pillowcases on this page, designated fraternal because they don't match each other exactly, but they share common fabrics. So you can, I guess, assume they're made by the same person with their same quilting supplies or their fabrics. And I think that is so cool because I'm the kind of person, I love that kind of shabby chic mismatch. And I just like the idea of like they're complementary. Like they look good together because they've got similar fabrics, but they're not identical. I just think that's cool. Like that's, I could see a Pennsylvania German, Pennsylvania Dutch who was like, oh, no, must match. Very, very, very decorated, but must match. But I could also see people who are like, yeah, here's what I got. It looks good. They're good designers. And I just thought that was so interesting. And there is the besides the fraternal pillowcases, there are this sister and cousin pillowcases that are going to come up. That's right at the end of the book. I don't want to spoil
I
it.
thought you weren't giving any spoilers.
No, I said spoiler alert. I'm going to tell you. But yeah, some of these stories are amazing because I mean, like, you like quilts. I've talked to lots of people that have had quilt stories where they're like, I bought these two quilts in two different places, but I think they were made by the same person or the same community of women because of XYZ. But when you talk about pillowcases, I mean, chances are good that there was a pair. I mean, they don't, that doesn't necessarily have to be. And in fact, I think Anne says sometimes they're singles, sometimes they're doubles, but I think it's so cool that if they did get separated to bring them back together. I'll leave it there.
Oh. So you're telling us that like some things about
I know some things.
separating.
I know some things about the lives of pillowcases. Yeah, I just I can't even express how just delicious these pages were. Just paging through and looking at all of these. Some of them to me are so, I mean, some of them look like the quilts that they probably went with, right? They're just, you look at it and you're like, I can see the quilt in my mind that probably went with. But some other ones are just, I'm kind of like, was it, they had some blocks left and they thought, I'll make some pillowcases. Or they had scraps and they said, I'm going to try something out. And I mean, I look at it like a pillowcase would be a really like kind of low level of effort to decide. Well, yeah, I mean, you're like, oh, I want to put this together. I don't know if it's going to work out. So you make a pillowcase instead of a whole quilt. And if it's the kind of thing like, it was ugly, you sleep on it. It's no big deal. Or you make it into a hanging bag. Put it in your outhouse.
Yeah, put things, toilet paper type things in it. I have to say one of my favorites, I mean, there were a lot in here that I was like, oh, but this green star was very interesting. I just don't.
Oh, you skipped way ahead. What page is that on?
It's on 55. Because I'm too like flustered now to find the passage I was talking about with the dies. Because half me was also like, was it in a pillowcase description?
Is it right below the inset of the close-up? It says detail of variable star, possibly an overdyed green that is lost blue relative to yellow.
Oh, well, no, that's extra, I think, but maybe it was the variable star section then that talks about the overdye.
Yeah, that's why I kept thinking because these green stars.
Get out of here with your logic.
May I just flash this spread? I mean, this is just a really beautiful bunch of pillowcases. And these especially, those are so striking from a distance. That whatever that blue like I guess it's not blue, it's like a floral. I guess it's like a blue floral. But then with the Irish chain, I mean, just from a distance, that is so beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's like a blue daisy or
look
something.
Like sort of little daisies, yeah. But then this is really the same thing, just different fabrics.
And then don't forget there that red and blue on 43 is Arlene's. Wasn't hers at the time.
Right.
Maybe it's hers now.
Yeah. It's like knowing a celebrity. You're like, that celebrity lives next door to my friend now, but they're in this book.
Anne said there were multiple pairs similars to those made by sisters.
Oh, wow.
That's really cute. Like, now wait, Anne, does that mean each sister makes one of the pillowcases, or sisters are making, one sister made this pair, one sister made this pair? Because that's really cute. I want a
Yeah.
sister that I make pillowcases with that match.
I love the idea. Oh, she says read the captions, Jill.
Oh, I
You
thought she was
haven't done
talking about something different. No, I know
you
like
haven't done your job.
um so I was gonna say, hey, Stephanie's the one that showed those ones. Um, Ian, you don't have any of these anymore, do you? You sold them all. Yes, no, maybe. And I'm asking just because this one on the next page on 44 is also one of my favorites because I feel like
I
so
think
far
the courthouse steps and those that well, I mean it's the I guess that scrappy one is all courthouse steps too. But both of them on
Mhm.
page 44 are probably my favorites.
She said
She
I
says
sold
she
it.
sold those.
Because yeah, those that courthouse steps ones I feel like is the heaviest pieced one, the one on the top there that we've seen so far. Um, and
But
I
how
was really,
modern that looks.
and I was really like, oh, collection of author. I wonder if author has that. And, oh, she still has courthouse steps. Oh.
Hmm. Most likely because it's beloved, as we
I was
love
gonna
it.
say, well, I was gonna say, and if there comes a point that you're ready to downsize something, you let me know. Um,
Um, so on page 46, this one struck me.
with
This
the
is the one with the
butterflies.
butterfly fabric.
Hmm.
I think now looking at it in a book is vastly different than actually looking at it in person, touching it, feeling it. But I say like just looking at it in the book at first glance, I wouldn't have guessed that this is that old. I mean, like 1860 to 1880. I know that they had the conversation prints with the cute little things, but I don't know. The butterfly fabric looks really modern to me.
Hmm.
And then with gingham is like across all decades and centuries. So it just that one has like a really like modern look to it too, I guess as far as the colors and the fabrics.
I like the couple of like triangles that don't match kind of part of the oops,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
also the
I
really
guess
teeny.
that's probably my question. And I'm not really gonna like straight up ask it right now, but some of the theories I have, and I'm wondering if, and again, I have read this book. It's been a while. I am reading it again because I'd forgotten some stuff, but I don't remember hearing much about like what maybe could have spurred people on to make these pillowcases, other than the fact it was popular at the time in this area. And clearly some of these were made to match quilts. But I kind of have the theory that, again, low barrier to creativity. And some of them, like if you look really close, they maybe don't look like the most perfect piecing. So I'm wondering if it's like they kind of went through their blocks and were like, yeah, I'm not going to put this one in the quilt, you know? Um, and they were just like orphan blocks and stuff. And they said, make a pillowcase or not. I don't know. That was kind of I think that's probably a good question for when we interview Anne. So I won't belabor it.
All right, pretend you didn't hear that part. I mean, personally, like that would definitely be somewhere my mind would go with my own orphan blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I definitely make the kind of quilts where you could accidentally make an extra 15 blocks. When you're making a quilt that has, 700 3-inch blocks, here's looking at you, Bonnie Hunter. Like, you could end up with extra stuff. And also, if you're like me and you're doing scrappy, you're gonna make extra just to have some variety in case you end up with color clusters when you're laying things out. You
Mm-hmm.
want the ability to move things around. So,
Right. Yeah.
um, definitely in my modern sphere, I could see
Yeah,
that.
actually there was somebody in the young and millennial quilters group on
Mhm.
Facebook. I don't know if everybody knows about that Facebook group. It's Although it's titled Young and Millennial, it's open to everybody. I'm a member and I'm 50.
And
Um,
I'm an admin and I'm millennial.
but what I thought was interesting was there was somebody in there that I can't remember what it looked like, but she had made, it was some kind of quilt where they were small blocks. And she had made like, I don't know, it was something crazy like 30 extra months. She lost count and she just kept going. And she's like, what should I do with these? Overwhelmingly, I feel like what I read was people were like, make a pillow, make pillowcases, make a shams, something to
Mhm.
match. So I feel like that's got to have not just happened now. It has to have happened in the antiquity as well.
I I feel like potentially too the other possibility there would be a doll quilt. There is
Yeah.
there when I went looking, remember last time we were talking about um the Christs having a pillowcase that went along with one of their quilts that they got out of Pennsylvania. And I had said there was an auction I went to online, where they had like a pillowcase with it, and I couldn't find it. One thing I did find when I was going back looking was another quilt that had a matching doll quilt with it. Kind
Oh,
of
interesting.
like the mommy and me is what it made me think of. And sometimes I think sometimes can't they be like around the same size potentially? Like, eh,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
makes you wish you could have been a fly on the wall for some of those conversations.
For sure. Yeah,
And yes,
Janet
then
says cutoff points were here and there for sure. Yeah, I mean, I did notice that. Of course, we also see that on the quilts themselves, but
I was gonna say, and I'm not one to judge because
yeah.
even with our modern day things, I can certainly have cutoff points.
Oh yeah,
Um,
my points are garbage. That's why I like applique instead of piecing. Um, as a side note, how many people want to make a pieced pillowcase now?
I would totally make a piece pillowcase. Are you
I
thinking about
totally want to do
are you
it.
thinking about your next 100-day project?
Well, I'm actually working on something. I'm not sure yet if it's going to turn into a mini quilt, but it occurred to me like, this could, in theory, be a pillowcase. Now, I would not want to sleep on it though. I would want it for
That's not
show.
a prerequisite for making it.
True, but like everything on my bed is for sleeping on. It's to snuggle with and sleep on. I don't
So
have
there's nothing
decorative
pretty
things.
on your bed.
No. It is all, I mean, it's quilts, pillows, all that. But it's for
Well,
it's snuggling. I don't take pillows off before I go to bed.
um, and don't you, I mean, I don't know if do you have any patterns for piece pillowcases that have been published anywhere, perhaps? I believe, don't you have some doll quilt ones? I wouldn't be surprised if you ended up doing a pillowcase here or there.
Oh yeah, I mean, a pattern for a doll quilt would make a fantastic pillowcase. Um,
Mhm.
but my guess is these were all just they measured their pillows and they went for it, right? I mean, we
Mhm.
discussed like the some of that banding and bordering and the piping and stuff that they put in to kind of wrap around, and it was really seems like a decorative device and not just like, oh, my blocks are too big or this sashing needs to fill in. It's like so she made a doll quilt. We can speak oops typing. We understand.
Gonna say you're not the first person to type weird
No
pillowcase.
pillowcase patterns. Okay.
Um, and
Well, and the kind
just
of thing is though, I mean, their pillowcases, pillows are, and I can't remember where I saw this, like pillows are not really standardized, you know? Like I think that there's kind of like a size gradation, but some pillows are like really floofy, they're big overstuffed pillows. And then there's the ones like if you're a side sleeper, if you made, so I don't even know today if there's necessarily like,
yeah, there's a standardized like queen size pillow for your bed.
mhm,
And I guess
yeah.
king is also pretty standardized. But like it's you still get the weird square and then the bed the body pillow
Yep.
but at least the queen size is standardized. So Anne says I made doll quilts based on pillowcases.
I
And
think it's a good, yeah, it's a good analog.
Anne, where did those patterns show up? Did you sell them separately? Were they in piecework or something like that? Are they somewhat accessible in this day and age?
So this gorgeous thing,
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily always, I'm not usually drawn to those darker colors. I like morning prints. I think morning prints are pretty, but some of those like the darker hunter green or those kind of brownish, I'm usually not really drawn to those, but I don't know what about this. This is very striking. And it's ocean waves. Um, I just think that color palette for some reason is just really, really great. And I mean, you're looking at it and it's like, wow, there's Pennsylvania Dutch all over that. You know, I
So
feel like I
Anne
can look at these
says
things.
that her patterns were in quilting magazines and she can send us the references for those.
Ooh, awesome.
So yeah.
Oh, I also have to mention, I was working on doing a like some little side research this past week. And I didn't get very far just because I've been busy, but uh a friend referenced something to me and said, look, took a picture of a passage from a book and said, this is the book it's from. And I'm like, that's like the one book I don't have. So I ordered it and I got it. And lo and behold, it's one of the books that Anne has in her bibliography. So it had a paper in it that was relevant to what I was researching, but also has a paper about pillowcases. So it's almost like I skimmed it. I didn't have time to read it, but I'm like, I bet like that is good scholarly stuff. Anne reference to that, and then Anne's got the receipts. Like these are all the pictures that go with all that
And
information. So
what book was this that you didn't have?
it's bits and pieces. It's
Oh yeah,
it's one of those paper, yeah, it's one of the books that has it's like a symposium book.
Mhm.
I think it was Jeanette Lasansky. She had a symposium at one point, and I think these are the papers and things that were coming out of that.
Yes, I have that somewhere. I
Mhm.
don't ask me where. Notice how I
Yeah.
glazed right over that.
Yeah, so I was excited, and I'm looking forward to reading that paper after we finish with the book because I love that when you've got the topic shows up in other places and you can read and get the through line.
I wish when the downside to kind of the way we do things here about kind of we go one book right into another book um is you look at the bibliography. I always do to see what
Yeah,
else
I do too.
is in there. It's always how I find books that I've never heard of. And the not having the time after you finish a book to kind of really investigate and go maybe read other things that are in the bibliography is a little bit of a bummer. Now, would I actually follow through on that if I said I was going to do that and didn't have a schedule of other things? Not likely, but I like to think that I would. The
Try my
upside,
best.
yeah, the upside to doing books the way that we do, where we kind of go one right into the other, is it actually keeps me doing something legitimate instead of just saying that I'm going to do it. With that being said, I might just make a mention that Steph and I have discussed maybe doing some things a little bit differently and maybe not always jumping book to book to book to book and have a little free space in between to look at other things and have like just looking at quilt nights and things like that. Also just because this gets expensive when we're just constantly buying books on top of books on top of books. So just something to think about so you guys could give us some feedback on that if that is something that might sound interesting to you and
Oh,
doing
this
things
is cool.
in
Anne
this way.
said one of her goals with the book was to gather all the references on Pennsylvania pillowcases in one place.
And I really appreciate that, Anne.
Yeah.
I really
Well, plus,
do.
I mean, I go back to the fact like I love to read like the academic papers, but most of the times they have like a picture, and like I like academic light, accessible information and lots of pictures, and I just feel like that's how we digest information today. Whereas a lot of the like really good, meaty academic papers were written, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously there's still great papers coming out, but when you're looking at something that somebody is, has written in the past few years and they reference stuff, it is going to be like, decade or two back.
Well, that and the fact, Anne, that you've got an annotated bibliography here. It's gold. It's gold. I do want to make sure, just before, and so in case we run out of time, that we do spend some time here on the applique pillowcases, because our potential, framed piece here is of the applique variety. And
I will just, if I may, just leaving the chapter 3, I have to say, the stars, I mean, I know I keep saying this, the stars are probably my favorites, besides the applique. It does appear that, and I think she states this, there are a lot of stars. Stars seem to be very popular in these pillowcases, and I thought that was very interesting. And
I wonder if maybe that's some kind of a religious thing.
These two, the tulips, or I'm sorry, it's like a lily, right?
Peony.
Peony. Yeah. It's known, I think when it doesn't have this lower piece, it's a Carolina lily. And when it has that lower piece, then it's a peony, I guess. Another one that I absolutely love, and just colors just scream.
The one above it too, for me, on the green star.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I
these
love
are so fabulous.
I love the border, that just doesn't, like they just kind of hacked wherever instead of planning that triangle border. I think the quirky stuff.
That one probably is screaming, hey, I was an extra block, or I was the block that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because there is some funky stuff there, definitely.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with a block.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
I got really excited for a second because one of these fabrics almost looked like the fabric I have in my framed piece, but it's not. So I won't even show it to you because it's not. I got excited over nothing.
So with these applique, well, I mean, really all of them, but I was so surprised the number of them that had names on them, or little, yeah, I mean, just names stitched, or, and in those cases, I'm kind of like, I guess it was, well, I mean, one of these pillowcases in this applique section was for, what was his name? Isaac. What was his name? Isaac Landis. His mother probably made him this pillowcase. I mean, I think that's lovely to put your loved one's name on it if you're giving it as a gift. But some of these other ones, I'm kind of like, we know about the laundry marks and all that kind of stuff. It's just interesting to me, particularly if these were things that were not really used. They were meant to be pretty. They weren't, having to go into the laundry rotation necessarily. Just interesting. You kind of just wonder, what was up with that? Janet says, I think that this is such a small sampling of a type of item. Not sure if you can say stars are the most popular in the medium. Yeah, I mean, that you're absolutely right. Just from the perspective of when you've seen, you can only find 100 of something. There could be, hundreds more out there. We just don't know. It's just what Anne has been able to find, and the researchers before her, what they were able to track down.
Well, and based on that, the pillowcases are rare. If there's thousands, she said, it's I'm not sure if it's 100% a direct quote, but basically she said if there's thousands of quilts, there's only hundreds of pillowcases. And Janet says her favorite is on 59.
Page 58.
Or I'm sorry, 58, because
59, 58. Yeah, the Ohio Star one at the bottom of the page. Well, they're both Ohio Stars. At the bottom of the page, the blue, that one. I really love that because, the blue is very striking, but then the Ohio Stars are all scrappy. And, it's got that both scrappy and, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, like planned. Both planned and scrappy.
I mean, scrappy can be planned if you're just planning the color placement, for sure.
Oh, of course.
The one above it there that Janet likes, it because those colors are so muted, that actually almost reminds me of like a magic eye kind of scenario. Like if your eyes relax, you'd actually start to see different things come out than just the star.
If you relax your eyes, you can see stars.
Um, on page 69, this
Mhm.
particular applique one was very interesting to me because it's got so much space where
Mhm.
the opening is. I was kind of wondering, would you put the pillow in there and fold all that extra behind it? But then some of that extra is really fancy, you know?
Mhm.
What is that? It's a lace. Yeah, okay. So it's a lace. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like would you want to hide that or would you want that, showing on the side? And
Yeah,
kind of like
I
what
don't
are the
know.
ideas behind the plans? Because the one on 68 here also has fancy, work on its lace and stuff on its end there. That
Mhm.
one's that one, there's no blank space, all of the design goes all the way to the end. So it looks like that's made to fit a whole pillow, where this other one looks like the pillow maybe could have been more square and they tuck around, um, perhaps to
Perhaps
drape
it was
off
to
the
drape
edge
off the
of
edge of the bed. Yeah, could be. I don't know. I mean, I think any guess is it's
it's
possible. I mean, I
possible. Yeah.
could be like they made them and went, "Oh, crud, they don't fit the pillows." I made these for you as a wedding gift, but dang, your pillows are longer than I thought. Who knows?
This one
Um,
on 71 here that's dated the 1831.
yes, that one is so interesting. And it's not, this one's not the pillowcase. This one's just a applique square.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, this, and again, this goes back to like, was it, also, I know, so this is, where is her name? Mary Yorty. Um, so it looks like she's put, the date she's put in there is her birth date, right? Yeah. Um, oh yeah, she's got born in there. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
know how old she was when she made this, but
But she could
I'm
have been
almost like
two.
2 or 3. Well, but when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, so the applique on this looks really, really good. I mean, I think it's pretty skillful applique, but then the embroidery, hmm, I've seen much better. So, I mean, I guess the question is like, was she just not a great embroiderer and her applique was good? I don't know. And it's the kind of thing like, was this meant to be a pillowcase? Was it meant to be a quilt block? And but she just put lace around the edge of it. So, it could have been just a thing to lay on, to lay around. I love to lay things around and drape things I've made all over the place. So yeah. On the facing page on 70, that one at the top with the oak leaf and reel,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a real standard pattern for that time. But what I think is really interesting is, you've got the oak leaf and reel in the middle, and again, looks very, very like good, like very solid, good applique. There's those weird little shapes in the corners that are kind of like Matisse's examples of oak leaves. I don't know. They're odd. And for this one, I'm like, was this multiple people involved? It's got the name Ann Grider or Ann Grader on there,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I mean, the things on the sides do not seem to be the thing as the thing in the middle, the same.
Yeah, I would the first thing I
I
think
mean,
of
did
is
she
like,
have a pattern for the stuff in the middle and then she just tried to freehand the things on the edge? I don't know. It's
yeah, it would make me wonder if like she made a pattern, did the thing, and then was like, ugh, the edges are so boring. But like I don't have anything else to put in there.
yeah. Let me just
I'll
cut some
just
stuff
drop
up
some
and put in
stuff.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah, Arlene's pink and brown is always my favorite. Always the greatest. Tulip and vase. Oh yeah, I don't know what the thing in the middle is supposed to be a tulip, right? But I don't know the things on the corners. I guess they're supposed to be leaves, but I don't know. I
your
guess
guess
she
is
didn't
as
have a
good as
pattern,
mine.
so Yeah. We can guess all day. Um,
The set here on 72
mhm.
is like
Yeah, that's pretty
stunning.
stunning. That's some really, really, really beautiful work. And I think this one mentions that it's got this teeny tiny um hem on the ruffle.
Mhm.
I feel like modern when it, modern times you would do something like a ruffle like that on a pillowcase, you'd probably generally like have a piece of fabric and fold it over. So it's like double edged. Like at least that's what I've seen on ruffle pillowcases. But to have that like little tiny, it was probably a rolled edge, is my guess, how they stitched it. That's the mark of like a true, you know, needleworker that is very good at what they do.
Yeah, it's way more effort than I'm ever putting into anything.
So this came from Julie Silber, and she still has them.
Oh, wow.
And you
And
know what, Janet? A cactus, I think a cactus is a it's a good guess. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but it is very cactus-like.
Anne, is there any chance like you might bring one or two of these to seminar for us to see in person? Like would that be a fair trade for cracking into my frame? You know, do a little bargaining. I won't steal them. I just want to look at them.
We don't have to spend any time on it, but Honeybee on page 73, I'm like Honeybee is my new favorite
Yeah.
applique block. I'm like, I've never done that one. I've never used it in anything, but I'm like, it's coming up soon. I'm gonna stick it in somewhere soon.
Oh, yay. Anne says she'll bring pillowcases for us to look at. So our night of deframing just got even more fun. That'll be really exciting. Because
We have
yeah, I
forced Anne into a trunk show.
yeah, well, I for one, I really want to see like the workmanship on these up close. Because I mean, while these pictures are fantastic and you guys did a great job taking the photos and the lighting and all that stuff, like you still can't really appreciate the workmanship
Mhm.
in a book that you can in
Yeah,
person.
there is only so much that you could get into a book without it being so gigantic.
Mhm.
So 74 and 75, I had already mentioned, what was his name? Israel Landis. That pillow is so sweet, and then the assumption that his mother made it for him. I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh. Um, I love the fact that the date and his initials are fabric and not they're applique fabric and not embroidery.
Mhm.
Um, I also kind of wonder at the fact, like, it's not particularly girly or floofy or anything, but I mean, they are flowers. It is a flower. And then the things in the corners are, I guess, are just kind of little devices. And these are folks from Lancaster. I guess I just, thinking about that time period, was it not a big deal for a dude to have a flowery pillowcase? Like,
I guess not.
yeah, I mean, I know quilts were gifted, and I guess back then people were not so much going like, oh, this is a women's pillow. I mean, a women's quilt. This is a man's quilt. The way we do today, you know. Oh, a match to this one appeared after the book came out. So
That's like
was it?
awesome and really annoying at the same time, I'm sure.
Yeah. So was it the same, or was it like for another child, or
Or like, was it the same or fraternal?
fraternal, or a cousin? And I don't want to digress us, but
You do.
the fraternal quilt, I mean the fraternal pillowcases, like fraternal, it comes from like fraternity. The root word is brotherhood, brother. What about sisterhood? What word would you use? Instead of fraternal, what word would you use to mean sisters? Is there a word?
Like a Greek, like a Latin root? I'm sure there
Yeah,
is. I don't know what it is off
sorority.
the top of my head.
It's
Oh
it
yeah.
would be soror, but like sorority, like your fraternity, sorority, like the root words, brother and sister.
Hmm.
I don't think that there is a word. If there is, it is not in common use, and I want to know what it is.
I'm gonna
I've been
have.
on a feminist rip all week.
Mhm. I'm sure.
Turkeys.
Like, I'm sure there is. just because we're already going over, which I knew we would because we started a couple minutes late, but I want to I'm gonna go
Well,
over.
we are in the home stretch of this chapter. I want to spend just a minute on page 75.
Oh, I
That
know. I was just
Trapunto.
about
Yeah.
no, I was just about to be like,
Yeah.
you have to talk about this this like stuffed applique one.
Yes. Yes.
Because we're not doing anything justice. No, and girls can totally be fraternal, but the fraternal word is still
Yes.
rooted
The word
in
fraternal,
men.
its root means brother.
Yeah. So
And
it's
yeah, that's, I just don't think when you use the word fraternal, I don't think that there is a one that, I mean, the word fraternal, even though it's got the root word that means brotherhood, it's used,
in
the
yeah,
masculine verb version is just used for everything. Like, is there a one that is, I don't think there is. I think because fraternal's been used. I'm sorry, guys. I've just been on this feminist tear all week, and I'm just like, why it always got to be about man?
well, you know something, I do have a friend who is a teacher and her degrees are in classics. So like I can't think back to my years of Latin training to think if there is a root female because I'm actually thinking it would lie more in the realms of like Greek god pantheons because you
Yeah,
got
that's what I'm saying. I
I
can't
can't
think whether it would be Greek or Latin, Roman. I took Latin,
I
so
can't pull something up in my brain, but she might be able to boom right off the top of her head. So
well, get back to me on that. Look,
yeah,
we'll get back to all of us.
I will have to ask her. But yeah, so on
This
75,
Trapunto is amazing.
yeah, it's like the most gorgeous stuffed nudity I have ever seen in my life. Not that I've seen many of them.
And this is one obviously was not meant to be slept on, but imagine if you did. Oh, the pattern that would be on your face. I've seen so many Trapunto quilts, like white work and just, but this is so striking the way that it's almost like a cut work
Well,
piece in the
this one
middle, the
is
fleur de lis.
specifically stuffed applique,
Right. Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, there
not
is a
stuffed
difference
quilting.
between Trapunto and stuffed applique. Yes. Yes. I did get corrected on that not long ago. Um, Latin fraternus means close allies. Oh, okay.
I like that it's allied because allies are like choices.
Um, but yeah, so the stuffed applique, the way that the quilting has been done, it cuts it into those little segments and then stuffing those, it just is such a different look than what you might see in like a white work trapunto. Um,
And was this the only example of a stuffed applique that you came across? Because that would be, such a one-off.
mhm, yeah.
Um, and a lot this like personally, if I was gonna like think about trying stuffed applique on like a big quilt, this would definitely be a scenario. Yes, this is the only one Anne came across. This would definitely be a scenario where I would test
Yeah.
how much labor something like that would
Hmm.
be. And then maybe that's why there's only one Anne came across, because people were just like, don't
Yeah.
ever do that.
Yeah. Well, and also like, I mean, yeah, just to try it out. And I mean, would you want to make a quilt like this? Probably not. If you did that kind of dense, heavy stuffing on, an entire quilt, blocks like that, that would just be, it would be cumbersome. So,
Well, that and it would potentially compromise the integrity of the entire quilt, having that kind of weight pulling on things in different places. Excuse me. This one on 76, this paper cut, let's see, paper cut, it doesn't say, I like my first thought for this one is like a poinsettia
oh, yeah.
kind of picture. That's kind of what and it also like the green reminds me of palm trees.
Yes. The green definitely reminds me of palm trees too. And I kind of, as I was looking at them, they're not, I mean, they have like the leaves. I mean, it's like a floral kind of thing. they all kind of they have that one on the end that kind of twists to the side a little bit. But if
Hmm.
you look at them, they're not identical. So I wonder if the person like freehanded them,
Huh.
like they didn't use a pattern. They just folded it and had like kind of a, you know, they sort of just knew what they were doing.
Hmm.
And I think it just came out like really interesting looking.
Sometimes you get lucky like that. I'm not necessarily one of those lucky people that can freehand this like gorgeous snowflake, whatever, you're gonna fold your paper to do. Whenever you had to do those in school, and they'd be like, oh, you cut here and you cut here. Look, a masterpiece. Mine came out looking like something like you pulled out of the trash.
A square with some holes in it.
Like, yeah, like I always must be the person that like cut like on the fold or somewhere you're not supposed to. And I would open mine up and it
That's
would be like,
like,
look,
but it's two
like,
pieces.
yeah, like, look, leftover dinner. Like, yeah,
Yeah, but these paper cut things are, I mean, even on a small scale like this, I mean, they are still challenging to lay them
Mhm.
out, get them nice and smooth. Some of my Mary Wither wax blocks are, I think Mary Wither wax, and for those of you that are not aware, Mary Wither wax is our friend Dawn Ronigan's it's a quilt that she found and repatterned it, and we've been going through her pattern book and doing a 100-day project. But I think Mary Witherwax did a lot of paper cutting. Some of those like, non-floral things. I think she folded paper and did that. And it's a chat, it's fun to do. It's cool to like just cut up some paper and arrange it, but to actually do it in fabric, it's a little bit more, it's not impossible. It's not rocket science or anything, but it is a little bit more challenging. And especially with these intricate, little dips and curves. It's like the yellow and red one.
Mhm.
That's really beautiful. That's really well done. But that's a challenging thing to do, like needle turn applique and get it to all look like it's all the same.
Yep. It's
I can't wait till next week because we're going to be looking at special pillowcases with names.
the things that that are in the end here that because you read the book and I have to discover. I'm a virgin, so I get to discover. Don't ruin anything for me.
Well, we're gonna get into some the Hershey's and the Landises in the next chapter.
Oh. Well, that's
Um,
exciting. So then just to remind anyone that came in late here for next week, next Tuesday, which is the 13th. Oh my God, that's already halfway through the month. We're gonna finish the book because the week after that on the 20th, we do our interview with Anne. So if there's any questions that have been burning at you between the beginning and now and the end, you can send those to us on social media or you can email us at quiltnerding@gmail.com and we will get those out to her. We do like to send her questions ahead of time, but of course, you are also welcome to ask last minute things in the chat that night
yeah.
when she will be on the screen here and we get to tease her live.
We should probably quit saying things like that because we'll never get another author to come in here. Mary Kay is probably watching going, y'all can read my book, but I'm not coming on to talk to you about it.
Hey, everyone that hasn't been around, you guys can go back and watch her interview with Dawn. We only teased her a little bit and she laughed and teased back.
It's all good. Anne said her staff will clear all questions. I believe your staff, for the most part, are of the four-legged feline variety, so we know it's going to be rough.
Have your cats call her cats.
Yeah. I'll have my cats call your cats.
I mean, we can even throw in a couple of your weekly renditions of Where's Igloo, which is
Of
her
what?
Where's Igloo? It's a little thing Anne
Oh,
posts about her
yes,
cat
yes, yes.
about like a Where's Waldo situation.
Hmm.
So we can share some of that.
You certainly can.
And with that, I think we're going to call it a night here. We're at 9:15.
Yes. it is time for Stephanie to go to bed. I have
For
had
the
a
next
week.
24 hours.
Yeah, for the next, yes, yes. I talked about it a little bit on my stream yesterday. It's been nuts. Oh, hashtag where is it glue? Where's it glue?
No,
Yeah,
really,
search that on
the
Instagram.
photos can be rather hysterical. Like you should really look at them.
Yeah, I forgot that's what it was, but yes, I've absolutely seen those. They're great.
All right, well, Anne, thank you so much for coming in again. We really appreciate having you here in the comments until we get you
Yeah.
live on screen. And then don't forget, everyone, that our next book that we're going to do, which we're going to start right after seminar, will be Merikay Waldvogel's Soft Covers for Hard Times. You can find affiliate links to those in the descriptions, and I will update all that stuff later this evening. You'll also find them on our Instagram page and in our Facebook group. Make sure that you join that Facebook group if you want to be able to discuss things throughout the weeks. We post different things going on in there, or people will discuss things in the book. That's where Arlene likes to share pictures of things that she has. So come and hang out with us in there. And I got a
Yeah,
lot of stuff now
yeah.
to post on there.
And I need to get off my duff and get some of my pictures taken and stuff. So
Yeah, you gotta schedule. You gotta schedule. You're gonna have to take 12 hours of sleep to like get up and going again.
yes, I could go and do another, what, 72 hours of nonsense. It's all good. It's all good. Coffee and I'm awake. I'm here. So, all right. Hey Jen, it's good to see you. I didn't know that you're lurking. Oh, well, goodbye, Jill.
Goodbye, Steph. Have a good sleep.
Thank you. We
Goodbye,
love you
everybody.
guys. Mwah, 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 mwah.